let's start with, as always, the division champs, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year, they went 8-9, made the playoffs, and lost. If I remember correctly, I didn't write this down, but I think I lost to the Eagles in the first round. I'm trying to remember. I should look that up. My
Eagles had the bye week, right?
I thought maybe.
Eagles were the first seed, right?
Okay, they were. You're right.
And because we played the Niners and the Vikings played the Giants.
Was it the Seahawks didn't get it. Did Seahawks get in?
Yeah, Seahawks.
It was Seahawks Bucks.
Yeah.
No?
Wait, was it? Hold on. Now I'm confused.
Let's pull this up.
So Bucks would have played a wild card team. They didn't play the Giants. They didn't play us. So yeah, they played the Seahawks. They had to.
I don't remember that game.
They had to. And then they lost to Seattle, and then Seattle lost to San Francisco, right?
Okay, Seattle lost San Francisco first round, and why is it not? Oh yeah, y'all beat them. Okay, and then y'all played San Francisco. Yes, sorry, you're right. Okay.
Oh wait, we played them. Yeah.
It was forgettable because it was like 31-14. I saw the score. It was like
I didn't. I have almost zero memory that game even happened. And I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, the pain of losing to the Niners again, I feel like, I trust as also someone that's dealt with that. I can understand.
Yeah,
I literally can definitely overshadow.
I thought we just lost to the Niners in the wild card. Like that's how bad that memory has been for me. Is I was like, they just beat us first round, Hey, we won a playoff game, I guess.
Yes. So yeah, here you go. Already starting off the year better, and better mentals. But anyway. So yes, the Bucks lost in the wild card round to the Dallas Cowboys. They went 8-9. Really was a struggle bus of the year for Todd Bowles in his first year back as head coach. But anyways, in regards to the departures, did lose Tom Brady. He retired. Pretty air quotes when retired. But at least he will not be a Buck. Same with Leonard Fournette. He's not retired, but they let him go. Still a free agent. Julio Jones. That didn't really work out. He also left tight end Cameron Brate. They also lost tackle Donovan Smith. And on the defensive side of the ball, they lost defensive tackle Raheem Nunez-Roches, a couple of cornerbacks, and Logan Ryan and Sean Murphy-Bunting, and a couple of safeties and Mike Edwards and Keanu Neal. Addition-wise, they brought in quarterback Baker Mayfield, who is, as we're recording, QB1. They've already named him the starter over Kyle Trask. So there's that. And then running back Chase Edmonds as well as guard Matt Filer. And then draft-wise, they went defensive lineman Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh at the college in round 1, pick 19. And then in the second round, went offensive lineman Cody Mock out of North Dakota State, who looks like the perfect Buccaneer, as if you've ever seen a picture of him, especially now that he has less teeth. And also edge rusher Yaya Diaby out of Louisville, who they grabbed in the third round. So obviously major fall from grace from the Bucks, bringing Baker Mayfield, because obviously they're kind of still in this weird win now window because they extended a bunch of those guys that were part of the Super Bowl team, and Chris Godwin, and I forget Shaq Barrett also I believe got his as well, and he's coming off an injury. So a lot of question marks for this Bucks team. John, what are your thoughts on their roster heading into this season?
The Bucks they're just in a very weird situation where there's still a lot of the old guard, and then it's starting to look like we're seeing a lot of the young talent really take over this team. You can see it most notably on the defense. I mean, you look along the defensive line, you got Vita Vea, a veteran who's, how old is Vita Vea? He's not actually that old, right? He's
might be coming into a fourth or
he's 28
into a contract.
So yeah, he was drafted in 2018. So I think he already got paid.
Okay,
but yeah, he's 28. So that's a veteran, but defensive tackles sometimes can last for quite a while. But I'm just thinking, look at the rest of the starting defensive line. Kalijah Cansey, who you just mentioned, who they already drafted in the first round. Then you got Logan Hall, who was a second round pick last year. Then one of the edge rushers opposite of Shaquille Barrett, who's one of the veterans, is going to be Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, who we have talked about. He was a first round pick as well, right? Or was he like top of the second round?
No, he was a first rounder. He's like late. I think he was literally last pick or second to last.
Last pick of the year they won the Super Bowl. So I mean, just the fact that you have 3 starting defensive linemen, and one guy's, the one of them outside of those 3 is 28, and then the other 3 are all incredibly young, having been drafted within the last 3 years, just shows you kind of the change this team is going under. Then you have Devin White, who's, apparently unhappy and might potentially want to trade. I don't know. I haven't kept up super close with that, so I don't know if he's still unhappy. Levante David and Shaquille Barrett are some veterans. Jamel Dean, Ryan Neal, Antoine Winfield's pretty young in the secondary. Carlton Davis is somewhat, he's a veteran at this point, but he's still somewhat young. So I don't know. They're just in a very interesting position in Tampa right now where like they have some young pieces, they got some old pieces, same thing on offense, right? Like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, these guys are veterans. Baker Mayfield, although he's young at this point, is a veteran. He's 20. Actually, he's 28. He's older than I thought. To where then you have some other guys taking over. Rashad White, Tristan Wirfs now going to be playing left tackle. Luke Gadecki's going to be playing right tackle. You got Cody Monch, as you said. So I don't know. It's not full-blown rebuild. Like, I don't think they're going to be that bad. But it's certainly, it feels like they're another offseason away from maybe entering that point if they don't have a really strong season, which I don't know where I necessarily project this division to go. But it seems like, all right, you have a bad season. Maybe we see like a Levante David retire. You see, them start exploring trades for like Mike Evans. And, you can start to see some of the old guard on the way out, just as they potentially move towards the next phase of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because, I don't know, without Tom Brady there, although this roster still has plenty of talent, it's really hard to imagine them being like a serious team when you got Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback.
Yeah, agreed. And by the way, on the Devin White, apparently he's rescinded it. Apparently, it's actually recently, once again, and at least NBC Sports reported this a day ago, so convenient timing. But yeah, apparently he rescinded his trade request after a quote-unquote, I don't know why they said secret meeting, but anyway, secret meeting with some of the team.
They know about.
Yeah, I guess, that they shared with us. Anyway, but I guess Bowles and the GM, Light, they talked to him, I guess, and he rescinded it for now. So we'll see what happens, though, because it was over contract extension. So maybe they have plans on releasing someone. I don't know. But nonetheless, yeah, it feels like...
Just real quick, I wouldn't be shocked if that was maybe a thing like, hey, Devin, Levante's maybe talked about calling it after a year or two. We're going to sign you to an extension, like that kind of a thing. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's
or
my
they're
suspicions.
like, hey, right out this year, if you don't like it, or if you don't like it by week 8, fine, we'll figure something out. But I don't know. We'll have to see, because actually, because I think I'm trying to look at his contract, because he was drafted in 2019, so maybe I'm not sure if they picked up his fifth. This is the last year of his contract. Okay, because they already picked up his 5th year.
Yeah, this is the 5th year.
Okay, so understandable. So he's definitely looking for a contract extension. But nonetheless, it's just, we kind of saw it last year where the defense, because you mentioned Vita Vea and Jamal Dean's been still really good, solid for them, and Winfield and Devin White, of course, still relatively good young pieces there. And then obviously they've kept adding to it. But unfortunately, the other side, the offense, was, even with Brady last year, a major concern. Offensive line, overall, the production was poor. I mean, Tristan Wirfs is probably the lone bright spot, and Ryan Jensen out with injury. But there's still 3 other spots that they have major question marks at, to be honest. And then Chris Godwin, too. He wasn't really the same last year. And granted, he's coming off that injury, but you never know. Like, sometimes they lose a gear after an ACL or a knee injury. And then I felt like last year, too, and granted, once again, it's maybe because the line was poor and such, but kind of saw Mike Evans. We saw him lose a step, per se, or just not be the same guy as he was the year prior. But who knows, we can attribute that to. So, and especially since, like, not really sure what the running back situation looks like anyway. I think this is going to be like another version of a failed reload. I think, as opposed to like yeah, it's going to take a couple years for them to get back on track because they're trying to band it all together, with the Baker Mayfields and, probably bringing in Chase Edmonds for extra running back depth. But we'll talk about the division more, but it just feels like this is like 8-9. I feel like that's kind of their ceiling is maybe 9-8 per se, sneaking the wild card. Let's see the playoffs shake out. But yeah, I don't foresee them getting better than they were last year, at least wins wise. But I mean, maybe the defense is better or should be better anyway. But yeah, it's hard to win in today's league without a reliable offense. And I feel like you already alluded to, we kind of know what Baker Mayfield is at this point. He kind of had all the pieces around him in Cleveland. Great line, great running game, solid receivers. Didn't really work out. And then now he's going here where aging receivers, no real notable running backs, and questionable offensive line just feels like a formula for failure. And I mean failure is in not being a relevant team in the Super Bowl window. So maybe another year or so for the Bucs to get back in the title contention, but kind of the price they paid for going all in, but for Brady, and I'm sure none of them regret that. At least the ones that won the ring anyway. But